See, what had happened was some people wanted me to play a certain character or a certain role in their story. But I was like, nah, that doesn't feel right. What feels right is for me to be who I am, this person. And for you guys to play a certain character, a certain role that I see for you in my story. So that's where we're at with it now. Am I successful? I don't know. It depends how you look at it. Am I doing good or bad? If you judge off how I feel, I'm doing great. If you judge based on like what direction my business and my company is headed in and what's going to be our projected annual revenue for 2024, on paper, yeah, it doesn't look so hot right now. So yes, I am a little stressed about that. But other than that, I'm still living comfortable for years to come, regardless. But I've got to the point where even if I do transcend through the death portal, or in your planet, you guys like to call it death, but we all know death is real, time isn't real. That's a whole other topic for a whole other discussion. Even if that happens, it's still a win. Whereas, like most people and me in the past, my biggest fear, their biggest fear is death. And they think the biggest way to lose or be a failure is to die. And that could be true up until you reach that inflection point. Once you reach that point, you're like, I've already done enough. And the supernatural things I experienced are way more thrilling and crazy and exciting than any material worldly feat could be. If I was to start a tech company and it was to do 3 trillion in revenue a couple years from now, that wouldn't even be a fraction of excitement as to what I just went through in the spirit realm. That was the craziest thing ever, and it just kept going. I didn't sleep for 2 weeks, 100% sober, and I got hit in the head with a rock twice by, he's probably a gangster, right? But he thought I was somebody else. So we'll see. Hopefully, moving forward, we're not going to deal with that same issue because I was only at like 30% health. And then there was some other stuff. People were attacking me. I was at 2% health. I got down. I was at 2% health, and then I stepped on an explosive thing. There was a pile of garbage with like an explosive thing underneath. Stepped on that and took me down to 0 health. And then I still proceeded to finish that level or that mission or whatever we're going to start calling them, because we got to start a whole new naming convention for this stuff. But like I said, I was telling myself earlier, that could be a once in a lifetime thing I never experienced it again. Or it could happen every, couple decades or whatever. But I was telling myself earlier, you get like PTSD and now you're thinking, should I be ready? Is that going to happen again tonight? Just like if you're in your car and you run over a nail, now you're kind of like paranoid. Like next time you go driving, you're like looking for every nail. And then it's like, that's like PTSD. How long are you going to carry that with you? For how many months are you going to be driving like that before you realize, oh, it took me driving 8 years before that incident ever happened. So let me not try to focus too much on preparing for those battles or those interactions as if they're common. So I'm not going to be like thinking what just happened to me is ever going to happen again. So I was like training really hard my whole life and I didn't know what for. And I think that's what I was training for. But now that it happened, I'm like, for the last 2 weeks, I've been eating just like comfort food to help kind of ease me through a lot of that pain and trauma. But still in the best shape. I have more attributes now. My genetics have evolved. Um, and I'm still a whistleblower, but I'm not a snitch. So what happens in those other realms got to stay in those other realms. I can't be giving out too much because it wouldn't even make sense. People here would be like, "Oh, there he goes again. He's just a kid in his imagination," or blah blah blah. Whatever these closet fans, I like to call them my closet fans, right? Because they pretend like they don't fuck with me, but like in the closet, they're like one of my biggest fans because they know that I'm a fan of them. And um, I used to be a little too explosive, and that was kind of like why I had to like move so like calm because I'm just ready to like explode any given moment. But again, that was because where I just was, I had a juke. I had to juke a lot of AI backed Medusa head style evil AI. I had to triple juke him, quadruple juke him. I had to come up with a new lingo on the spot. And that's what I'm saying. Like, what else can I do after doing all that? Like, what else can I really do to give me that same level of dopamine and excitement? Nothing. But what I can do is now try to have my wholesome. Before all that happened, I was just minding my business, trying to live like an older person who was in retirement. I was trying to live off my dividends and just downsize and have my little food forest and just live off like a minimalist lifestyle, but still enjoying like golf. But when I was golf, it's like $20 per round, nothing crazy, right? And I don't buy stuff at the course. I'm just very like a nice, wholesome, enjoying life is the only thing, in my opinion, better than that constant thrill and excitement of just magic. But it's really not magic, it's just different realms. But we're talking light tunnels, staring contests, staring contests, and just being able to fill any blank spaces electromagnetically speaking.